Welcome back to Patman Garage. So if you were nice enough to stay all the way to the very end of my last video, where we showed off the grill collection, you might have seen my hint about the grill that I don't own. And the answer, technically speaking, is that I don't own a 2000 or 2001 Harley Davidson grill, or which is basically the same grill as the 03 STX. But anyways, what I was kind of hinting at is I do have a new grill, and my new grill is out here on the truck. So let's go find out what's underneath the cover today. All right, so there she is. The new Patman Project. And if you're really paying attention, you might notice that there's not a Ford badge on these wheels. So let's take a look and see what's under the cover. This is a 2002 Lincoln Blackwood, and it's my 2002 Lincoln Blackwood. These are love or hate them. I know a lot of people hate them, and that's okay. It's not every vehicle's for every person, but this particular one is kind of in rough shape, but it's all here. We're going to figure out what it's going to take to get this thing back together and happy. I'll go into several more videos about the rehab process here. I have what I'm going to call short-term, long-term plans, and maybe also long-term plans with it. This is going to be after the rehab, once we get into modification stages. So for now, it's going to be a little bit of rehab project. I've got a sunroof is stuck open on it. I've got back window leaking on it. I think the front window's leaking on it as well. So we're just going to work on getting the cab sealed back up. That's the first priority. Then we're going to get this thing back into shape to run and drive again as well. So hopefully you're excited about the project, because I'm excited about the project. I have no idea when I'm going to find the time to do it all, but probably means I have to cut back on some of the side work, but we'll see how that goes. But for now, we're going to work on getting it out of the cover. For right now, I have a tarp on the roof covering the open sunroof and under the cover, and just as an extra precaution. And we're going to work on getting the back glass out, so we can get the headliner out and then get the sunroof down, and then we'll work on getting this thing back together. So leave me a comment if you expected that I was picking up another project, or if this was one of your options of grills I didn't have. Technically, it's not a Ford branded vehicle, but it was built by Ford in that same 99 to 02 or 03 era. So these trucks are super rare. I think they only made like 3,300, and I think it's 3,384 I think was the build number on it. Ford originally was going to build I think 5,000 or 10,000, and they just didn't sell at all. They were super expensive back in the day. In 2002, I think the sticker price was like $55,000 on them, which translates to something like $85,000 today, which obviously ushered in the luxury truck segment that didn't exist prior to this. Of course, GM in popular or common GM fashion, they copycatted Ford and built a Escalade EXT, which actually did a lot better on sales, but it was a lot more generic of a vehicle compared to this one that had a bunch of bespoke one-off parts built just for the Blackwood. So we'll get into more details with this thing and talk about some of the unique features as we get into exploring the truck and finding out what works and what doesn't work, and what needs to be repaired and what's worth repairing and what we can find parts for and all that. But the quick rundown is power folding mirrors from the factory, heated and cooled seats in 2002, power operated tonneau cover. The only option the truck had was with or without navigation. It had the 5.4 liter dual red cam 4-valve engine in it, so it made about 300 horsepower, maybe I think it was like 320 or something like that. Pretty respectable number for back in the day. Self-leveling air suspension in the rear. It had traction bars from the factory. The bed has carpeted floor and then stainless steel boxes on the inside, or aluminum boxes on the inside. And yeah, it's a unique vehicle. Factory subwoofer in the rear of the truck. It had a separate blower motor in the center console for the rear seats. And yes, there's only 2 rear seats. So yeah, it was widely underappreciated in the market because no one knew what it was, because Ford did 0 advertisements for it. It had basically the overall concept of the build was a truck version of a Lincoln Town Car, and a little bit larger, but it doesn't do truck things like trucks are supposed to do, so no one understood what it was. And again, Ford did no marketing, no advertisements, so people really didn't know what it was. But yeah, that's my truck. We'll, like I said, we'll dive into experimenting and figuring out what we need to do to get this thing back up to running. I talked about I've got water leaks. I have some sort of electrical problem with relating to the transmission, and the transmission's leaking as well. And depending on how that repair process goes, it may speed up the process of my short-term, long-term plans. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so we're gonna finish getting the rest of the cover off. So we got to pull the little underbelly string cord that's tied up there. Helps keep the cover down. So we'll pull that off. We'll pull the cover off, and then we'll get into pulling the back window out of the truck. All right, so the cover's removed. You may actually recognize the cover. This is actually one I bought for Fitty when she went into storage a couple years ago. But anyways, this is the Blackwood. Like I said, we've got the tarp on the roof right now covering up the stuck open sunroof, and we're going to start addressing that problem first. And random little nugget for anybody who wants to nerd out with me. The Lincoln, because of the drop down grille, you didn't have access to put your hand in the top here to unlatch the hood. So they have a remote mounted hood latch release above the passenger headlight. So you just grab that guy and go sideways with it. So that allows you to open your latch without having to reach underneath the grille. And like I said, this is the 5.4 liter, 32 valve, 4-valve, whatever you want to call it. And this is the cruise control recall, which looks like it's kind of rough too, but it's all there. And we're going to work on getting this truck back into better shape. So I bought this truck not basically sight unseen. Definitely have not driven the truck at all. I drove it. It drove under its own power onto the trailer and off the trailer and around to the back of the house. So I put on a total of a quarter mile on this truck. She's not running great. That's one of the things we're going to work on in the future. And I definitely need to get the transmission squared away. So yeah, it was knew going into it this was going to be a rehab project. Part of that is me being okay with the truck sitting outside because it's not in the best shape. Perfect, it's not a collector quality vehicle, so I don't feel bad about having it sit outside in the weather. And actually, this week it got hailed on. My 18 got some really minor hail damage on it as well. Not crazy about that, but that's North Texas for us. But actually, the Blackwood fared out better than the 18 did, which is kind of surprising because the 18's aluminum body and it's a little bit stronger. But the Blackwood had a cover over it, so I guess maybe that helped a little bit. Although it's not like a weather or hail-proof cover or anything like that. But anyways, we're gonna jump into the truck and get started on it. So join me inside.